Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where I'm going to be reviewing Hot Girl by CHU'S Day. There's a song name. As always, if you want to see the reaction before I give you the review, then pause this video, click the link in the description below to open up a separate player where you can see the reaction that I just did, and then come back here for the review. Just the way we have to do things now. Anyway, so you've been warned. Are you ready? Have you seen the reaction? Do you need to see the reaction? Either way, here comes the review. Don't say I didn't warn you. Yeah, now, like I say, a lot of what I'm going to say about this is probably things that if you've been watching this channel for a while, you might have heard me say certain variants of before. Now, I'm willing to be cynical enough that, as you would have noticed when I mentioned about the reaction about how I found this song years ago and why I chose to go and find it and why it stuck with me, there's a lot of cynical reasons behind that. I mean, I didn't even hear the song. I just saw the video and I was like, this looks like something I can enjoy. Attractive woman singing a fun-looking song. Like, it wasn't fun sounding because I can hear it. Fun-looking song. And people playing actual instruments. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to deny. I can be sucked in quite easily as well. But it took me years to get around to it because obviously in the back of my head, the other part of my brain was probably going, yeah, but it looks really like it's probably just cheesy. So it's probably those two parts of my subconscious, just to psychoanalyze my musical taste here, is probably why I remembered this, but took so long to actually do anything about watching it. Now, that's quite important for the way I want to review this, because as a song, as you would have noticed from the reaction, I came out of that smiling, happy, enjoying it. It was good fun. Now, I'm going to break down the technicals of why, but first of all, just to sort of cover the points. Like I say, we've been through similar conversations on things like this before when we first started listening to Silent Siren on this channel, as well as other things, is the fact that something can be stereotypical, stereotypical of poppy tropes. It can be cheesy. It can be, not exactly original or testing any musical, sort of any high grades of musical playing, and still be really good. An example that I often use, look at how entertained people have been by, simple pop songs where there's no instruments in there at all. I'm sure we can all think of a pop song that we like that doesn't really have any instrumental quality to it, all the way up to things like Song 2 by Blur is one that I use often. Very talented band, Blur, very good musicians, but playing something simple. Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit. However we might pull apart a song for being tacky and poppy, you have to remember that, not every good song comes out of being, sort of twiddly and showing off your musical prowess. Sometimes good music can just be good music. And that's what this sort of thing does to me. It draws that line between doing pop in a sort of 90s boy band way where you would imagine that no one involved has any knowledge of anything to do with music at all. And, sort of doing rock music where maybe rock does sort of enter you into a slightly louder and more aggressive sound that maybe not everyone necessarily wants or doesn't want all the time. So this sort of thing to me has a really important place. And yes, it does often get troped in with so many things that we saw in this video. Even the video presentation especially, the sort of always smiling to camera, the little poses, the amount of light in that room was like they were performing on the sun, which is kind of like how you do a photo shoot for like a fashion magazine. It had all of those qualities that, yes, are stereotypical of pop, but it's supposed to be inoffensive, fluffy, nice, likable, and fun, just to make you feel better. And, kind of like, people sort of refer to bubblegum music. I often think that it's less bubblegum. It's more like drinking a soda or something, and that it's not necessarily good for you, but you drink it just because it gives you a good feeling. In my case, coffee. This is a coffee song. A cheap coffee song, not like one of those expensive coffees that spend hours on it, just one of those cheap coffees that is made, you get it for a good price, you drink it, and you just feel better. It's one of those. And that, for me, is a totally valid style of music. So I get why a lot of people wouldn't like this, as we've often discussed this sort of phenomenon on the channel. But I think if you're just looking for something happy and fun, then this was really well executed. Now, to get onto the song, because I haven't even really talked about the song, and we're about 5 minutes into this review. The song itself was Again, fairly simple, one chord, another chord, no particular intricacies to anything. The drum beat did most of the breaking up the musical elements by going from you get those sort of tom drum beats that you use in the verses. That's often done because obviously when you think about using a kick and a snare, which is your normal sort of beat, the kick on the floor and the snare being the sort of snappy sound, the reason why beats are usually in most contemporary music based around kick and snare is because obviously they're the two sounds that cut through the most. When you go to the tom drums, what you're doing is you're still playing something with a lot of noise and impact, but it's not designed to cut through more. It's designed more to give a sort of a mid-range rumble underneath the music. And so this is why it's often popular in these sorts of songs to put that in the verse, because it means that then you can switch to a kick and snare drum beat for the next part of the music, and you automatically have basically bought yourself, by sandbagging, you've bought yourself an energetic turn in the music, because then the minute you just go to a normal beat, it feels like everything's suddenly now started barreling along, faster, or at least with more energy or more purpose. So, the drum beat did that nicely. There was really good use of the vocal. The vocal melody was really good. And actually, I've got to be honest, again, we say this sometimes. I know she's not going to win any awards for being like an opera singer or anything, but I really liked her voice. It sounded nice and full. It wasn't overly it didn't have one of those overly stylized types of voices that sometimes can detract from the music. It just sounded like she had a good, full ability to sing. Guitar and bass was relatively rudimentary, but, did its job. Like I say, we're not looking for excessive complications here. It just, like I say, it just clicked. It's the sort of thing where I'm definitely going to listen to more of this band just out of interest to see what else they do. I'm imagining we're going to get a similar sort of tone of happy-go-lucky cheesiness, which I got no problem with. It makes a nice little change from some of the other things we listen to. We often listen to a lot harder music as well here. So I'm definitely going to check out more of this just for my own fruition. So I might as well put it into a review so you guys can follow this little journey with me as well, however far we go with it. However, I would actually draw a relevant comparison between these guys and bands like Silent Siren, because, like I say, Silent Siren, the quality that they have is very much predicated for me on the ability to deliver different moods of music with a real sense that there is a musical integrity behind it. There's a real musical quality behind what they're doing, but they're presenting it in a way that's so accessible that anyone can get into it. Like I say, the only thing that I think stops them from being internationally successful is that they have a bit of an Asian sound, because Sue, the singer for Silent Siren, has a fairly sort of high-pitched voice. For some reason, that's not seen as the in thing in Western music. I don't know why. I think her voice works beautifully and sort of glides along the top of the songs. However, these guys certainly, I think, would probably be easier for them to gain an international appeal. The question is, considering I haven't really heard of them, and I'm assuming they're still around, they might have broken up. The question is, do they manage to carry that Silent Siren quality of going through so many different styles while also maintaining a real sense of musical integrity? Like I say, this seemed all sort of musically fine to me, nothing particularly showy or complicated, but it was competent and it served its purpose and it was really enjoyable and engaging. So for me, as a pop rock song, taking this into consideration for what it is, this was a definite win. But I understand this is totally not for everyone. Totally not for everyone's taste, but I'm more than willing to give them a chance for a little bit more, so I certainly will. Anyway, as always, like I said, this is the sort of one that divides a lot of people, and I really love reading the comments in these ones, because sometimes people get into these songs who I wouldn't expect to from our regulars, some don't, and it's really great to hear from new people as well. So get in the comments, tell me what you think. This is just my opinion after all. And then as well as that, if you want to follow more of our social media, that's also linked in the description below, you can check out some of those places where we're bantering about all things all the time. And a massive thank you to our Patreon supporters who followed that link and have kept this channel alive in one way or another, one shape or form, for so long. So for now, from Japan, thank you so much for tuning in. You have a lovely day, and until I see you hopefully soon on my next video. For now, ciao ciao.